On this week's Hockey Inside Out, why does the most storied franchise in NHL history have such a hard time attracting top-tier talent? Welcome to this week's edition of Hockey Inside Out. I'm Adam Sesser. Joining me today once again is Stu Cowan, CBC Daybreak's Jessica Rusnak, and Mr. Chris Nilan. Here's what we're going to be talking about on today's episode. Number 1, has Montreal become an unattractive destination for free agents? Number 2, what is the minimum return the Canadiens should seek if they decide to trade Tomas Plekanec? Number 3, why is the Habs power play suddenly working? Number 4, 8 points out of the final wildcard spot. Is there still a chance the Canadiens can make the playoffs? And number 5, has Artturi Lehkonen emerged from his season-long funk? Let's start the show. If you are someone who likes world-class food, beautiful women, grade-A nightlife, non-stop festivals, drinking till 3 a.m. in the morning, massage parlors that never close, so I'm told, and being treated like royalty by everyone, then playing hockey in Montreal may just be the place for you. As long as paying the highest taxes in the NHL, having your very existence microanalyzed by the media in both French and English, and playing for a losing team doesn't bother you, then playing hockey in Montreal may just be the place for you. I don't know why people don't like playing here. I don't understand. Has Montreal become an unattractive destination for free agents?
Oh, you know, it's hard to say. Some guys have signed here, right? Bergman signed a few guys, but I think he's overpaid for those guys, and that has to do with the tax situation here, I think. The media scrutiny, that pressure of playing here under the limelight and the craziness of the media. Some guys don't want to go near that. And then, quite honestly, the buffet at Chez Paris is not what it used to be.
There's other food, though, Chris, other restaurants.
I think if the Montreal Canadiens were in a better position to be a Stanley Cup contending team, then more players might be interested in coming here and taking the hit with the taxes and the construction in any way to try to get around the city. But when the team's not doing well, all those things, it's like, why would you go to Montreal? And that's mainly the thing when people say, oh, maybe they'll land John Tavares. Well, why is he going to come here? You know, like there's nothing for him to look forward to compared to a few years ago. Remember when Jeff Petrie was going to be a free agent at the end of the year after they traded for him with Edmonton? He wanted to come back here because there was tons of promise with this team. And right now, the future just doesn't look very bright.
Well, Petrie also enjoyed playing in the hockey market. I mean, he had been in Edmonton before, but he really enjoyed being the spotlight that's here. A lot of guys don't like that. And you mentioned, like, not having a good team is a big reason. Detroit isn't a nice city, but when they were a really good team, guys would go there because they were going to a chance to win the Stanley Cup. Here in Montreal, as you mentioned before, you know, the taxes are high, the weather's not good, the team's not good. There's not a lot appealing to make guys want to come here. When you look at other markets, like let's say at Tampa, weather's beautiful, taxes are low, team is good, Steve Yzerman's the GM. Like, to me, as I said, in my next life, I want to be a Tampa Bay Lightning. In this life, I would like to cover them. It's just a beautiful city and a beautiful place to live.
Another thing I failed to mention, some of the older guys with families and kids who are entrenched in the communities down in the States have to come up here and then get their kids into school. And some of them don't want to deal with the language issue. And,
what language issue?
Well, the language issue is more an issue for the wives and kids than the players. Because the guys come in, you know, I remember Matthew Darcy one time, you know, you get traded and he was to a lot of different teams. You walk in the locker room, you have 20 friends right away. The guys on your team are all friends. So your wife's at home, doesn't really know anybody, dealing with a different language type of thing. I know I had a chat with Carl Ellis and his wife, saw her in the airport lobby. We were talking a little bit, and she was saying that she really enjoys living here, but she didn't realize like how French it was. They're living on the South Shore near the practice facility, and no, she's trying to learn some French now, but she said it was a bigger adjustment. They love the city, they love everything about it, but she said the language issue was a bit bigger of an adjustment than she thought it would be.
Tell her to move to West Island.
That's it.
It's a tough language, French. It's a tough language for English to learn. Tomas Plekanec is set to become a free agent at the end of or at this summer, but there's plenty of reason to believe that he'll be traded before the trade deadline. What do you think the minimum return the Canadiens should get from trading away Tomas Plekanec?
Second round pick. I don't think he's going to get a first. Second or third round pick.
Second or third, yeah. I don't think any more than that. And, you know, it'd be tough to see a guy go who's been loyal. I know the business side of it and all that, but this guy's been loyal to his organization. He's gotten good contracts. He's never been a problem off the ice. He's toed the line. He represented the organization well. And guys like that, I like to see be able to retire with their team. But even if he went somewhere else for the end of the season, he could always come back next year. because this coach likes him. Two, they need a centerman. And what's going to happen in the offseason? What if they don't sign that big guy? Tomas Plekanec could play on this team as a third line, fourth line center if, again, they fill those spots up top.
Well, he's overpaid, obviously, at $6 million a year, but it's another case of like with Markov. You don't appreciate what you have till it's gone. I think it might be the same with Plekanec, who plays those heavy minutes against. He's a plus player this season while playing on a bad defensive team, playing against the other team's top line every game, takes key faceoffs. Brendan Gallagher, Lehkonen, anybody who plays on a line with him raves about him. They love playing with the guy as much as people might say, oh, he stifles the offense. Gallagher loves playing with him. He's a smart hockey player. He puts the puck in good places. But he'd be a great pickup for a team with real hopes.
Making a run.
He's a really good pro. He's a quiet guy, does his job, does whatever role you want him to play, he plays. So he'd be a great pickup for another team. And it would make sense to try and get something for him, and then you can re-sign him.
I love Tomas Plekanec, always have.
And I think with him, too, that he understands that as he's getting older in his career, that he can't be making $6 million on his next contract. So say if he is traded at the trade deadline and then he comes back and signs with the Canadiens over the summer, he's lived here his entire life, his kids are here, then if he might say, you know what, I'll take a little bit of a cut on my contract and stay in one.
A lot of a bit. Like maybe $2 million a year.
Yeah, sign him for $2 million rather than him trying to go to the open market and seeing what else is available and then move his family from here. It probably would not make sense for him.
Well, we were talking earlier about guys who don't want to come to Montreal. He loves it here. Yeah. The Radulov liked it here. Markov liked it here. Bergevin keeps talking about guys don't want to come here, but the guys who do want to be here, he lets them go. So I don't mean Jacob De La Rosa. Is he going to fill Tomas Plekanec's role? I don't think so.
What do you think the chances are that Tomas Plekanec stays with the Habs next year?
It'd be interesting because you wonder if his feelings might be hurt. I spoke with him and he told me like how much he wants to finish his career in Montreal. He made that very clear to me. I don't want to go anywhere else. I love playing here. I love the fans here. His family settled here, so I don't want to go anywhere else. So it might be a case of like what happened with Markov, a proud guy. His feelings were hurt, his pride was hurt, and he basically said to Marc Bergevin, "Screw you." And that could be the similar situation too.
Okay, one thing that the Canadiens seem to improve on this year, like the one thing is their power play. They're currently ranked 7th in the NHL. They're shooting at a 21.6% efficiency rate. Why do you think the Habs power play is suddenly working?
Well, you look at the top teams, they're up at around 24. The guys above them, there's one or two at 23 something and a couple at 22. So there's not a huge spread there. And, they had a couple good games on the power play, and it kind of got them over that hump and got them up above 20. Moving the puck better, getting the puck to the net with bodies at the net. So, listen, every team, if you look at all the teams that are under 20%, it's the majority of them are, it's systems, guys who video, penalty killing systems are so much better, and everybody's prepared for what you're going to try and throw at them. Now, when you hit a team like Pittsburgh who got all that talent, it's a little more difficult to defend. But they've moved the puck. They've been efficient on it because they're moving the feet, moving the puck, and they're getting the puck to net. And
I think they've realized, too, with Shea Weber being out for such a long period of time, that maybe at the beginning they were thinking, okay, well, Shea Weber will come back and help us out. But then they were like, well, it's now up to us. We have to be, the answers in the room. The answers are the guys who play on the power play, and they needed to step up their game. And it's probably the same thing that, you score one goal, you feel a little better about yourself, or you create momentum on the power play, so then you feel like next time you can be able to get a goal. So I think it's just been, having some success has led to even more success.
Well, Max Pacioretty was saying it's the first time he's been on a power play that they move the puck around like this, and he's been in Montreal for a long time. And I think Shea Weber going down might have helped them on the power play. For so long, the Canadiens' power play is focused on the guy on the point, Sheldon Souray, PK Subban, Shea Weber, get it back to the point for the big blast. Now they're not as predictable. The puck moves around. Drouin has good vision. Pacioretty's in a different location now to shoot. Galchenyuk's on the right. Galchenyuk's on the off wing for the one-timer, which he's really good at, which Max isn't. For whatever reason, Max is not good at the one-timer.
And they had him down on the goal.
Really good. So they moved bodies around, and I think without Weber there, they're less predictable. And I think, and I say the Canadiens have had problems with the power play for a long time. I think it's because it's always been based on that point guy, whether it was Souray.
The thing is, if Weber's there, guys tend to want to go to him, and Drouin has to be the guy who settles that down and says, listen, here's the deal. I'm going to start making plays down low. and try and bring the defenders down low, and then it'll open the top up. And if guys are going to hug on Weber, then you got to make plays down low to make them pay and stay away from Shea Weber.
So what do they do when Weber returns? Do they just maintain the same
They don't
system?
put him on the power play. Simple.
I think they put him there and they don't rely on him as much. And maybe that'll help them because teams might be saying, okay, they're going to Weber, and then maybe they won't. But I mean, Shea Weber, that shot is lethal.
You need it.
Super positive news. I don't know if you guys watched the games this weekend, but big scoring wins, 5-2 and 4-1. Those are 2 wins, moving the Habs within 8 points of the final wild card spot. Wow.
And free French fries at McDonald's.
Free French fries.
And wings. And wings.
Yes,
Free wings
score
one
the first
game.
goal.
Oh my God. Okay, realistically, is there still a chance the Habs can make the playoffs this year?
No.
I knew you were going to say that.
No. They're not going to. They have to go like 26-7 the rest. They're going to lose 7 games. That's just to get to 94 points. And 94 points is not sure to get in.
No, they need to win.
They're not getting in.
No, they need to win like 10 in a row. This team isn't good enough to win 10 in a row. It's not going to happen. And there's too many teams between them. It's not just they're points behind. They got 5 other teams between them. They won both games on the weekend. They didn't gain any ground, like none.
Yeah.
So.
But Arpin Basu from The Athletic brought up a good point that the players are no longer talking about making the playoffs, that I think they won't say it to the media if you ask them, but they know that it's basically impossible for them to get into the playoff picture at all. They had 2 good games and they feel good about themselves, but I don't know if the fan base is too happy about that, because if they keep winning, then their chances of getting a high draft pick, I don't think they'd be too happy. But for the players, that they have to go out there and give it their all. You know, Chris, you can talk to this, that you're not going to say.
Everybody say, oh, tank, do this, do that. You're not going to do that as an organization. Come down and tell your players, listen, we want a high pick, so don't play well.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you can bring guys up from the minors and play them more and give yourself a better chance of losing, if that's what you want to do. Bring up, the goalie from the East Coast Hockey League and put him in the net, and then you're going to get your losses and you're going to go way down the standings, if that's what you want to do. Listen, I hope they get a draft pick, but I don't buy into that loser mentality. I can't stand it.
Yeah.
I hate the idea of it. And when you have played the game and you understand those kind of things, I don't see how many guys would really want to go for it.
No, I don't believe in it either, and especially with the lottery now. Just if you finish last, it doesn't mean you're necessarily going to get the number 1 pick. And you don't want to create a losing environment or a losing attitude on your players. I mean, a coach can do certain things to make it more likely the team will lose. Maybe you start Antti Niemi, but Antti Niemi's played great since he's been here. So you don't want to do that. You play to win. You play to win every game, and you win as many games as you can, and then you take the pick. To me, it's a defeatist attitude. It does you no good. It sends a bad message through the organization that you're trying to lose, and especially a franchise like the Canadiens. If you're the Columbus Blue Jackets or the Montreal Canadiens, you shouldn't be tanking games.
Do you think they're going to start to play better, though, because maybe they've taken some of that pressure off of themselves?
They may, because listen, let's just go play. What happens, happens. They might get that attitude as a group. But I know the coaching staff is in there working every game. Special teams, power play, penalty kills, systems. They're still trying to do everything they can to win as far as coaches. I mean, Claude Julien is not going to throw the towel in, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Julian's talked about how this bad experience might help them in the future. Guys have gone through
That's
this.
all
He
you
said
can
the
say.
school of
You
hard
hope
knocks, that they
hope
learn
it.
from it. But no, it's you play to win. That's professional sports, and fans are paying a lot of money to go to a game. If I spend $200 to go, or you can get tickets for less than that now. But if I spend money to bring my kid to a game, I don't want to watch a bunch of guys
make
lose.
it
I want to make
entertaining,
it's entertainment. It's hockey is entertainment. Professional hockey. You got to put a good product on the ice.
Here's some fun stats. Artturi Lehkonen scored 4 goals over the weekend, 2 against Ottawa, 2 against Anaheim. The last time he scored a goal, do you know when it was? I know you know, but don't answer. It was October 30th. That's so long ago. I was a different man in October 30th. Granted, he was injured from November 11th to December 19th, I believe. He scored 18 goals last year as his rookie season. It's a sophomore season. He was on a better team last year. Okay. Has Artturi Lehkonen finally emerged from his season-long funk? Do you think he'll start playing better?
Well, it's actually 4 goals total he has this season. They're all against Ottawa in 2 games. And I think so. I mean, There was Gallagher, Plekanec, one of the guys I think it was Plekanec was telling me after he scored the goal, you could just see a difference in him. Like it was like a weight off his shoulders, and he looked a little quicker after that. And the thing with Artturi Lehkonen, he always works hard. He's one of those guys, he's sort of like Gallagher. No matter what the score is, what the thing, he plays. And it's that sophomore jinx you hear people talk about, right? The second season in the league, and it's been tough. He had a big injury that was hard to get over. But yeah, I think Artturi Lehkonen's a good hockey player, and he's going to score a lot of goals for the Montreal Canadiens. This was you're talking about a learning experience.
He's still a young guy, right? Yeah. We forget it's his second year. Yeah, he got 18 last year when he came in. He was hurt this year, all that. Here's the deal. He's a good hockey player. He's responsible on the ice. He's good away from the puck. I know people say, oh, well, he's good away from the puck. I want guys that are good with the puck. But you have to be good away from the puck to be good with the puck. You got to go where the puck is going to be. He understands that. He's good in his own end. He works his butt off. I really like the kid. But, you know, is he playing above his head a little bit too? I think so. You know, third line winger for me is where this kid should be and be there all the time. And that hasn't been it for him.
Yeah.
He's been moved around. And, yeah, I like him. He's one of the kids, when you look at this retool or rebuild they're doing, that certainly should be one guy that's staying put and being part of that moving forward.
Well, if you look at this whole season, it's been a very unusual season. You know, they've been, you know, I would say negativity around this team has been since the beginning. Has been since the beginning of the year. And then, as we mentioned, he gets hurt. So it's just kind of finding your momentum. And I'm sure it was really weighing on him not getting the goals. And sometimes all you need is just a few. We see Max Pacioretty all the time that he goes through these little slumps and then he gets a few goals and then he gets hot again. So I think there's no reason to really be concerned at all about Artturi Lehkonen. It's just this is how the season unfolded with him, and his future looks good.
No, he's an honest hockey player. Coaches love those guys, right? You know what you're gonna, you know the effort's going to be there, and you can't say that about all his teammates this season. So Coach Julien, when he puts Artturi Lehkonen on the ice, he knows the effort's going to be there. And now that he's got a couple of more goals, we'll see going forward. I think he'll score a few more now that he's got that. The monkey off his back, or whatever you want to call it, but be squeezing the stick a little bit less, and I think the goals are going to come.
Okay, well, that is our show for this week. If you were a professional hockey player playing in the NHL, would you want to play for the Montreal Canadiens? Let us know in the comments section below. I'm Adam Susser, and we'll see you back here next Thursday.